Greetings and welcome to another edition of The Pedal Shift Project. The Pedal Shift Project is a series of conversations, thoughts, and experiments on bicycle travel adventures. From tips and tricks to ideas on how to ride your ride. Let's shrink the world by bike. Show notes and more are available at pedalshift.net/371, and you can email the show at pedalshift@pedalshift.net or text me at 202-930-1109 and check Pedal Shift out on all the socials as well. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 371st edition of the Pedal Shift Project. My name's Tim Mooney. Thanks so much for joining. On this edition, Oregon Coast Remix Part 2. After a relaxing first night in camp with special guest star Mysterious James, it was time to put in some real mileage over some real terrain. Fog and cool weather beckoned, but would it remain? And would our next new-to-us campsite with beach literally in its name live up to expectations? Good morning from Lincoln City, Oregon. This edition of The Lab. You remember, for those of you who have been with the show a long time, you remember I used to do the lab segments. Well, here's one. Well, we made our coffee this morning. I don't know if you heard James' exasperated sigh, but James, you usually cold soak your coffee and put your protein powder in there with the shaker. And today you decided, because it's 50 degrees out and we're doing hot coffee, to put your protein powder in hot coffee. How is it going for you?
Not too well.
Not too good. Not great.
It did not dissolve, and so it is a chunky, semi-gelatinous layer of gook on top of my coffee.
So here's what I'm thinking. Below that layer, oh no, it looks bad.
Yeah, this is...
Think curdled.
Yes.
That's the vibes. It is somewhat getting in there,
yeah,
but
slowly. Okay, maybe I just have to stir it and then drink lukewarm coffee. But
yeah,
I will not be doing this tomorrow.
No, I think that we're going to call this a valid experiment.
Yeah, it works with cold soak. If I cold soak my Starbucks Via overnight and throw in just some vanilla protein powder in the morning, it's delicious. But this does not work.
This could be delicious, just like ugly. But I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Well, in any event,
Lesson
Lesson learned.
learned.
That's the beginning of our morning here in camp. It was a chilly overnight, windy. We retreated to the tents with some pretty hefty winds, and then that died down. And this morning it's fairly calm at the moment, but chilly. We are fully socked in with fog. Presumably that'll burn off at some point. But James took a sip. James, do we have a report?
Yeah, you can't see my face, but
I did.
It is one of displeasure.
Yeah.
This is not very...
Are we talking like a 1 out of 10?
Yeah. I'm going to just have to spoon it out and just...
I'm
raw dog.
I'm impressed.
My protein powder.
I'm impressed that you're actually eating it. And he did. It's wild. In any event, well, James struggles with his coffee protein powder soup. I'll tell you a little bit about how the rest of the morning is going to go. We have no specific plans. We're just going to drink coffee. And then, as we mentioned in an earlier chapter, the goal today is to get down to Newport, probably just punch those miles out and have a real nice, good break in Newport, maybe grab a beer if we're feeling it, and then finish off our day and end up at Beachside. There's one hill of note I think we discovered last night. And there's probably more, but one that shows up on the ACA topo map. So today's a pretty chill day. We do end up passing a couple of campsites that we both have stayed at. Beverly Beach, we will not be stopping there. And then, of course, the city of Newport. And then we'll be passing South Beach State Park, which, of course, we've stayed at. And continuing on to Beachside. So that'll be kind of cool. Any additional takes after a night's sleeping here? I don't know if I have anything else to add.
No.
You are in Lincoln City and you do hear traffic. If that bothers you, this is not the place for you. There are literally neighbors. There was a dude who weed whacked at 8:45 p.m. last night, which was amazing. So I would say, you may have noticed we're keeping our voices a little bit down. Just out of respect, I wouldn't want some state campsite full of hiker-bikers around my house screaming at 7 a.m. But I don't know. This was a really good stay. I think about, Lincoln City is a big tourist destination, and people spend a lot more than $8 a night to stay here. And you could stay here three nights. So if you lived in the Willamette Valley, or even in Seattle or somewhere in the Northwest, you can get transit here pretty easily, and do a long weekend here.
Was the beach walkable from here when you looked at the map?
The lake is for sure, because
that's what I meant.
We're on the wrong side of 101 for the ocean.
Yeah, okay.
We are certainly still feeling the effects of the ocean because it's chilly. But yeah, no, I don't know what the beach access situation is. I know it exists. My brother comes here with family a fair amount, and they stay a little bit further south than here, but they are Lincoln City people. Okay. So they definitely get to the beach. I'm sure there are several public ones within a driving distance. For bikes, might be a little bit different, but yeah, lots to do here. A little too busy for my taste typically, but if your TikTok includes a Lincoln City stay, you could do a lot worse than this. 7.5. Absolutely. All right. We're going to I'm going to enjoy my coffee. James is going to struggle through his. More to come.
From Highway 101 near Depot Bay. It's real windy, but that is manifesting as a tailwind, so things are feeling good. James is up ahead of me, which is our usual situation, and I'm feeling pretty good. I am doing something different this trip. I am noshing on shredded wheat minis, frosted of course, and I didn't eat breakfast. So the idea here is I'm using kindling instead of a log basically for the fire, and so far so good. I think the danger of this is that one could easily mess this up and bonk, so we'll see how it goes. About 10 miles in, give or take, so the miles are coming pretty easy. There's one climb later, I think after Depot Bay, and we're going to stop in Newport for lunch, as I mentioned earlier. And this is enjoyable. I went in with a little bit of trepidation. I don't know why, but I did. But the ride is kicking into gear and it feels good. So that's great. Let's see what else. Oh, weather. Nice and cloudy. The fog hasn't burned off yet. Really cool. I'm just a long sleeve merino wool sweater and pants, and it's going just fine. I'm a little warm, if anything. I'm certainly sweating, but hey, that's me. Let's see. I think that's about it. I'm feeling pretty good so far, and hoping to feel good all the way up to lunch. And at that point, we're a little more than halfway by a couple of miles. So that'll be good. All right. Beautiful out. Going past Salishan Golf Resort right now, which is a place of note. It looks like James did not decide to stop there, so I will not either. And I'll just keep on going. Like I said, feeling good. I'm liking this so far, and making sure that I'm drinking plenty of my electrolyte juice, or as it were. Okay, more to come. South of Lincoln Beach, north of Depot Bay, and about 16 miles from the end of the first part of today, where I'll be meeting up with James in Newport for some lunch. Feeling very good, very strong. I know that there's a climb coming in a few miles. The terrain is mostly flat. You get some nice rolls going, like long rolls, which are so much easier to deal with. So yeah, this was a really good day to not a super challenging day. So that's feeling really good. I think I'm getting the good confidence back. Of course, this is all so familiar, these roads, even though, the TikTok of this is so different, because started in Lincoln City, which I've never done before. So, it's going to be very strange getting into Newport and being like, oh no, you're only half done today. So, but it's part of the adventure, part of the fun. We're both really looking forward to seeing what Beachside is like. I do think that I underestimated how interesting I would find the different campgrounds, but it's more so. So organizing this trip around that makes a lot of sense. Okay, like I said, I've been nibbling away, and I'm really liking this so far. At first, I was worried because I felt, like I hadn't had breakfast going into a ride. But doing it this way has so far been pretty positive, and I've done about, 12-ish miles. So you would think that if it wasn't working, I would have felt it by now. I'm going to restoke my water bottle with some more electrolytes. That has some dextrose in it as well. I think that can do only helpful things for me, so that's great. And just a real brief break, just to kind of maybe stretch a little bit. This is a spot that is by telephone or power poles, and it's a good spot to do a little surreptitious evacuation of liquids, shall we say. That's a handy thing when you're, as you can hear, right on Highway 101. Just a few miles down the road in Depot Bay, which is kind of a cool town, really well known for whale watching. And I feel like I'm doing it again. Like, it's a whale watching town. I should go out and look on the water. But it's not a really good whale watching day. It's still very gray and clouded over. In other words, perfect cycling weather. But I did do something that I think is important. I stopped, and I got coffee at the Pirate Coffee Company, a place I have passed by probably 5 or 6 times. Maybe, I don't know, many times. And I would just blow right by because it's not on my itinerary. I feel like I got to push and make miles. And it's interesting because I do feel the tug of James being ahead of me, but at the same time, it's sort of like, he's not that far ahead. He'll wait just fine up ahead. He's probably going to do a break himself. He may have done it here in Depot Bay for all we know. But I thought it would be smart to get some caffeine in me. And also this really delightful apple walnut streusel cake. It's freaking amazing. So I'm enjoying this. It's chilly, I will say. I'm not putting on another layer right now, and I'm cooling down. But I don't intend to stay here too terribly long. I think I would throw another layer on if I was making this into a more proper break. But I know I've got a climb ahead of me, and I kind of like to take advantage of the sugar and caffeine that's flooding in my system as I do this. So I think it'll be good. Interestingly, I'm across the street from the bus, the Lincoln County bus, which of course has helped me on this route so many times in so many different ways. Big fan of these buses and what they do for these communities. James and I were talking off mic about that last night. Okay, enjoying this. I'm back, baby. I felt a little tenuous, as I said before, and this feels much better. I think maybe sugar and caffeine probably helps. Okay, next time you'll hear from me may not be until after the climb. We'll see how it goes. In the midst of the back road climb on Cape Foulweather, doing pretty good. I remember last time I did this, it was a little too warm and very sunny, and really struggled in it. Having full cloud cover that is starting to think about burning away, it's been really helpful. Caffeine has been good. All has been good. I'm trying to drink a little bit more water here because I'm really warm and sweating quite a bit. So trying to make sure I'm doing that. But I'm almost to the lighthouse, which, if memory serves, is the high point here. And then that's it in terms of, serious climbing for the day, I think. So we'll enjoy the rest of this. This is one of the more beautiful sections of the entire coast, largely because you get really excellent looks at the rocks as the waves hit them and you get that big splash up. There's no traffic really to speak of. So there's less noise. I don't know, you may be able to hear 101 above me here. But it's really fantastic, and I think one of my favorite parts of this entire ride, all together, just because of the serenity you get in it, and I really enjoy that. I'm not sure what the temperature is. I wouldn't be surprised if we're still in the 50s. We may flirt with low 60s today, but it's with no sun breaking through, the temps are probably going to stay down. Like I said, I'm enjoying that. I know James is probably way ahead enjoying it himself. But yeah, we should be, let's see, it's a little after 11. I was thinking somewhere around 12:30. I can't remember what the mileage ends up being. Obviously I'm going much slower on this stretch, but things will speed up when I catch the downhill, go by, I think it's a Boiler Bay? I can't remember. There's a really cool area to kind of maybe that I might consider taking a look at. May not. I'm kind of just in the rhythm now a little bit, and it'll be much better after this climb, because then it'll be back to kind of some just spinning through some miles. So But I do like taking a little break here just to kind of soak this in. This moment right here is honestly the reason why you ride these these rides. It's just fantastic. I got a great picture before this little side road that I take, I think, every time I'm on the route, because there's a good spot for it. And there were seals down on the rocks, and I got a nice, really good zoom in using this new camera. I've got the 15 Pro Max, which has a really fantastic optical and then a digital zoom on top of it. So I got some really nice pictures from way far away, which is great. All right, I am cooling down a little bit just standing here. So I figure that I've done the right thing by taking the break and chatting with you all. And now a couple more lingers at the waves breaking over the rocks, and then I'll just keep spinning up the rest of this hill. We're real close. We're real close to the top, which is fantastic. In the midst of the back road climb on Cape Foulweather, doing pretty good. I remember last time I did this, it was a little too warm and very sunny, and really struggled in it. Having full cloud cover that is starting to think about burning away, it's been really helpful. Caffeine has been good. All has been good. I'm trying to drink a little bit more water here because I'm really warm and sweating quite a bit. So trying to make sure I'm doing that. But I'm almost to the lighthouse, which, if memory serves, is the high point here. And then that's it in terms of, serious climbing for the day, I think. So we'll enjoy the rest of this. This is one of the more beautiful sections of the entire coast, largely because you get really excellent looks at the rocks as the waves hit them and you get that big splash up. There's no traffic really to speak of. So there's less noise. I don't know, you may be able to hear 101 above me here. But it's really fantastic, and I think one of my favorite parts of this entire ride, all together, just because of the serenity you get in it, and I really enjoy that. I'm not sure what the temperature is. I wouldn't be surprised if we're still in the 50s. We may flirt with low 60s today, but it's with no sun breaking through, the temps are probably going to stay down. Like I said, I'm enjoying that. I know James is probably way ahead enjoying it himself. But yeah, we should be, let's see, it's a little after 11. I was thinking somewhere around 12:30. I can't remember what the mileage ends up being. Obviously I'm going much slower on this stretch, but things will speed up when I catch the downhill, go by, I think it's a Boiler, is it Boiler Bay? I can't remember. There's a really cool area to kind of that I might consider taking a look at. May not. I'm kind of just in the rhythm now a little bit, and it'll be much better after this climb, because then it'll be back to kind of some just spinning through some miles. So, but I do like taking a little break here just to kind of soak this in. This moment right here is honestly the reason why you ride these these rides. It's just fantastic. I got a great picture before this little side road that I take, I think, every time I'm on the route, because there's a good spot for it. And there were seals down on the rocks, and I got a nice, really good zoom in using this new camera. I've got the 15 Pro Max, which has a really fantastic optical and then a digital zoom on top of it. So I got some really nice pictures from way far away, which is great. All right, I am cooling down a little bit just standing here. So I figure that I've done the right thing by taking the break and chatting with you all. And now a couple more lingers at the waves breaking over the rocks, and then I'll just keep spinning up the rest of this hill. We're real close. We're real close to the top, which is fantastic. South of Newport, James and I had a nice lunch. His was heavier than mine because he was hungry and I wasn't. But we are on the way to Waldport. We just got over the Aquina Bay Bridge, and that went very easy. Someone almost right hooked James going into a market. That was no fun to watch. Let's see. Big thing right now is we're just gonna bang out some miles, and we are gonna end up at the grocery store in Waldport, grab some stuff, and then get to camp and just make it happen. We are just about the South Beach State Park, and we've got about 20 miles or so of riding, maybe a little bit less by this point. So bummer to not be staying there, but looking forward to Beachside, seeing what that's all like. But sun's coming out. It's still cool, but both of us put on sunscreen that we didn't really seem to need prior to now. And it's about just shy of 2 o'clock. So we did not quite 2 hours of a break, which for both of us is unusual. But I think we need, once you decide, at least I think I'm deciding for me, once I decided to sit down for lunch, it's better to do a longer one in some ways, because at the hour point, I was not in any shape to ride. It was just felt really full, and both of us had a beer. Well, he had a full beer. I had maybe half of one. Yeah, it's just trying to take this easy. Luckily, the riding here is going to be very, very chill. So you can hear the traffic is pretty moderate. But this is nice, flat, wide shoulders. So we're in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of minor climbing here and there, but nothing really all that big of a deal. I feel like my saddle might need to be adjusted up a bit. Now that James is kind of taking a bit of a lead here, I may find myself taking a short break in a bit just to readjust this up a touch. It's fine, but just trying to dial in stuff. But yeah, ride's been great so far. I think tomorrow will be more challenging just because the terrain will be tougher and it's 12 more miles worth of riding. But that's the longest day of all of these. So we'll see how it goes. I don't think I'll do the same thing tomorrow that we did today, because I think sitting for a sit-down lunch, a big lunch, just didn't seem to be as good for me. But who knows? We'll play it by ear as we always do for that kind of stuff. All right, we have now fully passed South Beach State Park and are on the way to our next town, Waldport, Oregon. From south of Waldport, James and I did our grocery run. I probably bought too much food, but it's certainly stuff that I can eat tomorrow as well, or at least some of it. I'll focus on the fresh food tonight. And we're just a matter of miles, a couple of miles probably, or less, from the campground at this point. So we're making great time. It's just after 4 right now. So considering everything that we've done today, to bang out 50 miles, 2-hour break in the middle of Newport, a grocery store run, talk to Kimberly, we certainly have accomplished a lot. And I think now we get a really nice fair amount of time at camp, which is great. It's the longest day of the year, summer solstice today. So we can celebrate that. The beach here is simply stunning, just gorgeous. So I assume that we're going to have a similarly appointed beach at Beachside Campground. So we'll see. Looking forward to recording a sesh in camp, and we'll tell you all about what Beachside State Park is all about.
From Beachside State Recreational Area, I think that's the name. I don't think it's a state park. We are at the back camp. Well, I guess it's not really the furthest back campsite, but there were a couple, but then we were unsure if that was the day use area. So, but nice, really nice. Like you can't hear the waves, but we can. I think that the traffic is a little more prominent than the waves. So we are on this thin strip of land between basically the beach and Highway 101, 4 miles south of Waldport? Waldport. Yep. So I think when we got here, it was like, we looked at it and we were like, oh, cool. Old school Oregon hiker-biker campsite. No charging stations, no extra porta potties, but the physical bathroom that's for the day use folks is literally right next door. So excellent there. Access to the beach is off the charts, probably the best of any campsite that I think I've stayed at in Oregon. I don't think there's a one that I've stayed at any hiker biker where you are this close to the beach.
Cape Lookout's pretty close.
Cape Lookout's pretty close.
Yeah,
but
probably not this close, but it's pretty good too.
you're not at the grade of the beach like we are here.
True.
So, I mean, but you're right. That's the next closest one, and that's a very highly ranked one. That's like a number 1 or number 2. Downsides. I'm trying to think of what I'd call a downside. It's sandy. If you don't like sand, if you're like Anakin Skywalker and you hate sand, James doesn't get that reference, but you do. Then you may not dig this. There are sites that have more grass than that. James is on a kind of a sandy, pine needly kind of a thing. I love the trees. They're these like craggly, I don't even know what kind of pines these are, but they're pretty cool. Dude checking us in was cool.
Yeah.
Apparently, if you're in a motor vehicle, you got to get a campsite here 6 months in advance, which seems to be the theme of the Oregon coast. So don't bring a car, bring a bike. $8. I don't know. Scale of 1 to 10. Do I think it was better? It was different than last night. I feel like that it might end up getting... I'm almost like it's a 7.5 again.
Yeah, it's different, but equally nice.
Yeah.
They're both nice in different ways.
Yeah. Like, I liked the charging stuff at the last one. We both took advantage of that in the morning in particular. But I like that we're kind of more tucked away. We are not in the middle of a city by any stretch. So this is much more of
complete tree cover.
Complete cover.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, if it fogs in overnight, we are not going to get any kind of wetness based on... We may get dripped on because of the trees, but... Yeah, I dig this.
Yeah.
Am I blown away by it? No. But blown away is, Cape Lookout and South Beach State Park and a few others, So, yeah.
Yeah, I would absolutely stay here again.
100%.
Yeah.
How was your ride today?
It was good. I liked the weather. It was overcast, which is my preferred riding
Yes.
weather.
Except in Newport, where we thought it was going to be sunny for the rest of our ride, we both slather up, and then immediately, what was it, 2 miles south of there?
Yeah.
We get over the bridge, and then it's like clouds up.
Yeah.
You had an interaction with someone who wanted to turn right in front of you. That was weird.
Well, they were behind me. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if I was in the wrong or...
Oh, no, I'm talking about the thing in
the right
Newport.
hook. Yeah,
the right hook,
I was, luckily I saw it in slow motion. I saw it happening, so I was able to stop in time.
You saw the tomfoolery. You saw the chicanery.
Yeah.
As if it were about to happen. You had precognition of the chicanery and tomfoolery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bullshit. Oh, explicit tag earned. Yeah, I felt good. I felt good on the ride. I think I told you this. Tomorrow we have 62 miles. Like, I felt like at the end of this day, if like I had mentally prepared for 62 and said, I no doubt had another 12 miles of me. Tomorrow's going to be more robust in terms of the terrain that we're getting, particularly early in the morning after Yachats. We've got a pretty good big climb up to the Sea Lion Caves. You remember that? It's this enormous climb, and then at the top of the thing, there's like this parking lot for this tourist attraction for taking an elevator down to see the sea lions.
Yeah.
And there's a free popcorn there. Why I remember these elements, I have no idea, but yeah, we should be there in the morning. But yeah, tomorrow is an interesting day because it, like all of our days, it straddles what we're used to having in 2 separate days. And so we're going to be going through Florence, but not staying at Honeyman. And then we're going to have, there's some terrain after Florence. And then we end up in Winchester, past Reedsport. And Reedsport's the one with that crazy bridge where it's probably my least favorite of the bridges. It's the big bridge where you got the big climb. But once you get through it, you get this nice, cool downhill into North Bend. Oh, wait, am I conflating bridges? I may be conflating bridges. James is like, no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. They all run together.
They all bridges look same. Yeah, anyway, so I think tomorrow will be good. We're enjoying... James, what are you enjoying?
An Oregon Red Pinot Noir.
There.
It is now empty.
Nothing left for James.
Very tasty.
Yeah, I am having a Two Towns Cider House, unfiltered hard cider, made with John Gold apples. And I'm glad they did that because John Gold apples are trash. Where is this made? Corvallis, Oregon.
Oh.
Just on the other side of the coastal mountains from here. So that's that. Any takeaways from today?
It was an enjoyable ride. Nice weather, nice ride, and, a nice campground at the end of the day. So, success.
For our statistics section, James, how many hikers or bikers are in this campsite other than us?
Zero.
How many cyclists at all did you see today?
Zero.
Northbound, southbound, 0. It is a Thursday. The weekend kind of kicks in tomorrow. Did we end up making the wager or no? I think we
did.
Well, yeah, a wagerless wager, but
right.
It was just sort of like, so far, we have not seen anybody on a bike even. That wasn't the wager. The wager, would we have anybody in our campgrounds?
Yeah, any other cyclists
or hikers.
Or hikers.
I'll take a hiker. But yeah.
We're 0 for 2 so far. I mean, somebody may roll in later tonight, but I kind of doubt it.
We keep joking about this Fred this Fred guy that would come in at like 10 p.m. after having done 250 miles and then has their headlamp on and is playing like some kind of like EDM music until like, midnight or something, cooking a full meal.
Yeah. Clanging pots.
Yeah, clanging pots. Yeah. And then we'll disappear by 5 a.m.
Yeah, he's gone.
And we'll be somewhere in Northern California by the next afternoon. All right. That is all for this fine day. More robust day tomorrow, but a good day today. Statistics. Miles bite, 50. Protein powder mishaps, 1. Other cyclists in camp, 0. Hikers in camp, 5. Flats, 0. And as always, we like to close out the show with a special shout out to the Pedal Shift Society. Because of support from listeners like you, Pedal Shift is a weekly bicycle touring podcast with a global community. Expanding into live shows and covering new tours. If you like what you hear, you can support the show for $5, $2, or even $1 a month. And there's one-shot and annual options if you're not into the small monthly thing. Check it all out at pedalshift.net/society. On to the society. Kimberly Wilson, Caleb Jenkinson, Cameron Lean, Andrew McGregor, Michael Hart, Keith Nagel, Brock Didis, Thomas Skadow, Marco Lowe, Terrence Manson, Harry Telgadis, Chris Barron, Mark Van Ram, Brad Hipwell, Mr. T, Nathan Poulton, Stephen Dickerson, Vince LaGreco, Cody Florchinger, Tom Beninati, Greg Braithwaite, Sandy Pizzio, Jeff Muster, Seth Pollock, Joseph Quinn, Drew Porter, Byron Patterson, Joaquin Robber, Ray Jackson, Jeff Fry, Kenny Mikey, Lisa Hart, John Denkler, Steve Henkel, Miguel Quinones, Alejandro Aviles Reyes, Keith Spangler, Greg Towner, Jody Zeranin, Lucas Barwick, Michael Baker, Brian Bechtal, Reinhard Bigel, Greg Middlemiss, Connie Moore, William Gothman, Brian Benton, Joan Churchill, Mike Bender, Rick Weinberg, Billy Crafton, Gary Matushak, Greg Latoile Lopez, James Sloan, Jonathan Dillard, John Funk, Ronald Paroli, Dave Roll, Brian Hafner, Misha LeBlanc, Ari Messenger, David Kropke, Todd Grossbeck, Wally Estrella, Sue Reinert, John Lico, Stephen Granada, Philip Mueller, Robert Lackey, Dominic Carroll, Jackie McCullum, John Hickman, Carl Presseau, David Neves, Patty Louise, Terry Fitzgerald, Peter Steinmetz, Timothy Fitzpatrick, Michael Lazewski, Hank O'Donnell, David Zanoni, David Weil, Matthew Sponsella, Chad Reno, Spartan Dale, Carolyn Ferguson, Peggy Littlefield, Lauren Allensmith, Eric Burns, Thomas Pearl, Darren McKibben, Richard Stewart, Dave Fletcher, Jack Smith, Luke Parkinson, Ryan Patterson, Sarus Faravar, John Gardner, Sam Scruggs, Dwight Pittenger, Connie Bowder, Rob Merrifield, and thanks to all past and anonymous folks for helping make this show happen. Thank you for joining. You can find Pedal Shift at pedalshift.net for more great bicycle touring content. You can hear the Pedal Shift project through Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app. Opening music courtesy of Jason Kent off his self-titled album. The track is called America. Check out his band Sunfield's latest release, Mono Mono, wherever cool music is available.